All right, welcome back, folks, to this week. What? Drake,
Yeah, because Zach flipped me off.
Oh,
I was up with the countdown.
I was like, yeah, sorry, that wasn't
Great
you.
start,
Sorry,
guys. Great start.
Oh gosh!
Keep it rolling. Here we go.
All right, keep rolling. All right, hey,
Keep you on your toes, Joe.
all right. Welcome back, guys, to this week's episode of the Green White Checkered Podcast. I am hosting this week. My name is Joe. I'm joined by Zach, Austin, and Andrew. We are gonna hit the rain-delayed Dover race, and we have some big news that landed today in the NASCAR world with Legacy Motorsports announcing their move next year to Toyota for their OEM, leaving Chevy. So big Bob bomb dropped on us. So boys, we'll lead off with that. What do we think about Legacy to Toyota?
Did not see it coming.
Neither did I.
When it got posted, I kind of was in shock. I'm not gonna lie, I didn't believe it, and just wow, yeah.
Especially after, I mean, that's Jimmy's team, or Jimmy owns part of that
Yeah.
team, right? So it's like that's the last thing I would expect is
Right.
to switch away from Chevy ever. But
Yeah,
pretty
well,
shocking.
people forget he was Honda and IndyCar, so
No brand
I
loyalty
mean,
there. No
yeah,
brand
I know.
allegiance.
Yeah. I kind of expected some kind of allegiance to Hendrick, but I don't know. It is what it is. I mean, he doesn't own the whole team, right? It's
no, I don't think so.
It was a shock, but I mean, honestly, you look at how the team's performing this year, not well. I think didn't they finish dead last and second to dead last this week? Something like that.
Something like that. Yeah, something like that. They did not have a good
They
Dover week at all.
were 34th and what's their other car?
43, 42.
43 was somewhere else. 16th with Zach
All
Jones.
right, not bad.
But Gregson,
There you go.
But
34th.
I mean, compared to last year, Eric Jones, I felt like was a contender for the top 10 every week, whereas this year it's he's lucky to get a top 20.
Yeah.
And then you got Gregson. What was it? Ty Dillon has had more top 5s or some top 10s and all this other stuff. So underperforming cars. I don't know.
Yeah. And you're what, the 5th or 6th Chevy team, so it's not shocking. Like, hey, go be the 3rd team somewhere else and get more love and respect, I guess.
Yeah. I mean, Toyota announced beginning of the season, I think after they lost Kyle Busch, actually, that they were looking to possibly start another team or get with another team. I figured it'd just be an extension of, Hamlin's team, but did not see this one coming.
No, not one bit, but huge news to drop right before the pod, so we have plenty to talk about. Another big news from last week is Alex Bowman fractured his vertebrae in a sprint car race. Accident was pretty gnarly. He did multiple barrel rolls, and he's out for, I think, 3 to 5 weeks is kind of the rough estimate. Josh Berry is back in a Hendrick car for the time, so obviously this kind of re-sparks some should drivers do stuff not in the cup car debate. I mean, we've talked about it, but I mean, I guess it's sprint car versus snowboarding, so it might be a little bit different. But what are y'all's thoughts on Sir Alex Bowman?
I think that you go ahead,
ahead.
Andrew.
Nope.
Okay.
You.
I'll go ahead. I think that I think it was Rick or someone made a comment that it was like if these were 2 isolated incidents and like weren't this close to each other, we wouldn't even be having this conversation about should they do it. But we did have this conversation whenever, I mean, kind of this similar conversation whenever Chase was out. Was like, how much do we limit drivers outside of the sport? Outside of their actual like job work activities. So I mean, I don't know. I think that I do agree that then back to back being on the same team is definitely makes it look a lot worse. I think Clint had a good point too. For once, I think it was Clint on the podcast, on the broadcast. Excuse me. Where he was like, with the decreased seat time these guys get anyway, like he's like, I would almost encourage it to get them behind the wheel of something else during the week that's going to keep their skills sharp. With shortened practice. everything like that goes, that's been taken away a little bit. So I don't know. I see both sides per usual, but I don't think they should really limit them.
I agree.
Yeah,
And go ahead, Zach.
Yeah, it's. I mean, the Chase Elliott thing, like I guess that was a different conversation because he's out there doing, activities not related to stock car racing at all, which I don't know. We kind of talked about it then. Like, I mean, when are these guys supposed to do anything fun? Like, if you're supposed to do something that you enjoy, in Chase's case, and leave time for an injury, how long was he out? Like 6 weeks?
Yeah, 6 weeks.
So that means any fun he has to happen,
in 2 months in
after
the off season,
after the last race, after Phoenix, and 6 weeks before the start of the season. That's a very narrow window. I think that's just kind of bullshit.
The shortest off season in sports.
Right. Yeah. Like that's not fair. I don't care what your justification is. And Alex Bowman, he's out there racing now. I mean, can you have the discussion of, maybe picking and choosing a little more of what you're racing? Sure. I mean, the thing with sprint cars is they are dangerous. I mean, I heard Kyle Larson talking. They were asking him questions, and he said something about how he's escaped death more in a cup car than he has in a sprint car. Like, well, that's
maybe the next gen, but yeah,
that's not really true, because I did a quick Wikipedia look, and over the last 10 years, there's been 7 or 9 guys that died in sprint cars. I mean, we just had that one guy who just died not that long ago.
Mm-hmm.
So
the one guy got out of his car and got run over by Tony Stewart too. So
that did happen. So I mean, it's not exactly genuine to say that cup cars are more dangerous or even on the same level as sprint cars. Like, sprint cars are dangerous.
Yeah.
We have to at least acknowledge that and be honest about it. They are very dangerous, especially the non-wing. But I think Bowman was in a wing.
He was, yeah.
So I don't know. That's a discussion for the teams. Seat time is important. Making sure you stay sharp on your skills and all that stuff. It's important to those guys. And is it a risk worth taking? That's up to them to decide. I think if you're getting results, and Alex Bowman he's been doing good.
Yeah, which is a bummer. Another huge bummer. He's without the penalties, he's probably still leading the points too. So
yeah,
and I mean, even I was gonna say, Rusty was saying on the broadcast, he's like, Roger, and I'm sure it's still the same. Roger didn't let him do nothing outside of cup car, even drag racing, and obviously we know Joe Gibbs' rules on that. So
yeah. I mean, you gotta remember with Kyle Larson too. He had that Daytona wreck where he went through the fence technically, and I mean, and I think he's kind of throwing a fit about the new car being dangerous because that's the new thing for the drivers, right? But yeah,
I mean, he did almost eat a roll cage.
that's true.
Yeah.
He does have a little bit of ground to stand on, but to say that sprint cars and cup cars are the same level of safety, I don't think.
Yeah, I mean, in the last 10 years, we've lost 0 NASCAR drivers in
not one
of the series, but then we've lost 3 or 4 in dirt track.
According to Wikipedia, we lost 9.
But I'm saying cup drivers.
Oh, cup drivers. Oh, yeah.
Trying to think who we've had a couple, and so I don't know. It's just bullshit. He's talking out his ass there, but I don't know. You can't tell a driver to stop racing, right? I think all these guys now have kind of started going out and running other series, especially after Larson comes in, wins a championship, right? It seems like since then everybody has. You got Stenhouse, who's a World Outlaw. Yeah, he's got a team now. So I don't know. They're all expanding,
correct. I mean, I've only really been paying I've been an NASCAR fan my whole life, but paying attention more the past few years. But I feel like this is more of a new thing where guys maybe there's always that one random guy back of the field who does dirt, but it feels like this whole guys doing other stuff is. At least to me, I could be wrong. It feels more new, or maybe it's just more out there now that people are doing other stuff, and that's where the debate's coming from.
I don't think it is so much new. We forget how much these guys used to run in the Busch Series.
That's true. Yeah,
there used to be a ton of Cup guys that ran the Busch Series and Truck Series.
Yeah,
the fields were stacked with Cup guys back in the day. So
I'm thinking
drivers
more
looking
outside
for
of that, but yeah.
Well, I mean, now we have restrictions on that, and it's also the public eye looks down on Cup guys going back to Xfinity and Truck Series now. So I don't think it's so much as new as it is guys are just trying to find other avenues to explore, because race car drivers want to race cars. That's what they love to do. So if I can't do it in the NASCAR stuff, in the lower series of NASCAR, I'm going to go somewhere else and do it.
A bit of a devil's advocate / supporting point at the same time here. Does anyone else's job have like a moonlighting policy? Like where
I know mine doesn't.
What you can do, what like second jobs you can take outside of work.
Yeah,
they exist.
Yeah,
maybe mine. I don't know about my specific job.
Mine is, and like the most common one is like you can do whatever as long as it doesn't inhibit your job. Like dating.
Right.
I think that's even like in The Office. There's an episode about that where
like conflict of interest.
Yeah, well, basically. Not even that. It's like if you're like bartending at a bar and you're up till 3 in the morning and then come into work and you're falling asleep at your desk, like you're gonna have a word with you about like you probably shouldn't be doing this outside job. So I mean, like to what but at the same time, like in my job is kind of like sales oriented. If my side hustle was, doing sales, like not like a competing thing or anything, but like doing something to develop my sales skills, I'm sure my job wouldn't have like an issue with that. I'm sure they'd probably be pretty happy with it. So kind of to that point, it's like, okay, what's the moonlighting policy for a NASCAR driver? Like how much do we does like it's a common thing for your main job to limit to some degree what you do outside of work.
Yeah.
So I guess to what degree is that? And at the same time, in my eyes, like doing that extracurricular racing is developing their skills as a race car driver. So it's almost like, okay, why would we limit that at all? But I could see like certain things being limited if it's going to inhibit, like, in Chase's example, maybe we don't do extreme sports during the race season, but also off, you can't really ski or snowboard in the off season, I guess, or maybe I don't when I forget. I mean, I guess you can. Yeah, of course you can. It's in the winter, duh.
Yeah.
So, you can't do water skiing, I guess, if you really want to water ski in the off season. So, oh no, boohoo. But like, maybe there is some things that where they should limit some outside of race, outside of, their main job activities.
Yeah, it's an interesting conversation. And I think Denny even alluded to it because he doesn't have any like you can or can't, but it's just he's like, yeah, it just kind of depends on what's written in the contract. So and like they have to sign off on, if Bubba wants to do a truck race, they got to sign off on it. And I'm sure that's team and contract dependent. I'm sure like even Rick has to sign off on them doing Xfinity races, but yeah, it'll be a never ending debate, that's for sure. But Lewis Hamilton skydives and no one blinks an eye, so
if I'm a team owner, I think the less relevant the side racing is to actual NASCAR, the less comfortable I am with it. So like, if you want to go do Xfinity stuff, fine. If you want to do trucks, fine. If you want to go do late models, like oval, like asphalt super lates and late models, I'm fine with that. Dirt stuff, I started to become a little more cautious of. Dirt late models, I feel better about because they're full body cars, a lot safer.
Right.
You want to do sprints and then wingless sprints, now I'm getting more uncomfortable. So I'm not saying I wouldn't.
They want to go motorcycle racing.
Yeah, no, no motorcycle racing, absolutely not. So I think that would be
you're not really developing your oval skills.
No,
you're just going straight and
so
fast.
Say that horsepower, you ain't.
Yeah, I think if you could make an argument that it's helping your oval skills, and I mean you can for dirt as well, but I don't know. You also now are getting more in danger when you're doing sprint car stuff.
I mean, that was kind of my thought too, Zach, of whenever Rusty brought up the drag racing thing, is like, okay, well, yeah, maybe not getting a drag car because you're not really developing yourself, but definitely it's not doing anything for you.
No, there's no gain there for your on track skill set.
Right.
For NASCAR.
I could even see doing like an IMSA race or something. I could like seeing that because we go to so many road courses now. Why not?
Especially with these cars the way they are now, basically a fat GT3.
Yeah.
That'd make a lot of sense.
Time. Yeah,
I guess I was going to say too, is Penske doesn't let his boys do anything else, but I know Cindric has done Daytona 24 a couple times, so
I think he would let them do that kind of stuff if they would want to. I don't know if his guys really are interested in that. But I mean, he does let Cindric do GT3 and GT4 stuff.
We do have a live stream comment, by the way. We're streaming live at the Green White Checker Podcast every Tuesday at 9:30. The comment says, "Can you guys talk about Brexton Bush?" Coming from Caleb Smith. Let's dive into that. Brexton.
I know all about that.
Joe
very
does
well
too, as a big Kyle Busch fan. So.
Not one bit.
I don't know about that.
I don't know about that.
I don't
Audio.
You can't see those cars. Not one bit. But no.
Drake to hit it.
But
yeah. Hold on. Wait.
Okay. What?
Oh, you're slacking.
Sorry. Well, I can't because hold on. I'm gonna break the live stream here for a second.
Oh, you had to bring it
Yeah,
up.
I love Kyle Busch so much. I just such a big fan. That's
wow, Joe! I can't believe you just said that right now. That's crazy.
That's a deep fake. We're gonna move on though. We got race weekend.
Hold on. Let's talk about his replacement real quick, Josh Berry. So I mean, again, Josh Berry's called up to a Hendrick ride, and then just shortly before we started this podcast, Josh Berry is finalizing a long-term management deal with KHI Management.
So he's going to the 4. Got it.
Yeah. So Stuart Haas possibly.
Yeah,
I don't hate it.
That well deserved. Wish it could be a Hendrick ride full time, but obviously those seats are full. So, hate to lose him. But
HMS Homer, who you kicking out for Josh Berry?
God, that is.
I'll tell you, who I'm kicking out.
Oh,
you ain't gonna like it.
Yeah, I wonder who.
Honestly, it'd be Bowman, right?
Yeah, I'd kick Bowman.
I think it would.
I don't know. If you would ask me last year, it would have been easy Bowman, but now I don't know.
I wish he had this full year without the injury, because I'd love to see this. Like, if without the penalties, he's leading the points still probably, and obviously without the injury too, of course. But I don't. That's a tough one. I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, but if we're looking at strictly on points, I can tell you which driver's last in points in the Hendricks camp right now. So
well, he's been out for 6 weeks with an injury, so I don't want to hear it.
Well, good news. You can go snowboard more, Chase.
Hey,
no more snowboarding restrictions.
Chase, come on up to Sugar Mountain with me. I'll show you a good time.
You what?
Wait, Sugar Mountain?
Yeah, it's a mountain here.
It's in North Carolina.
It's the best mountain in North Carolina.
A little broke Becky. But with the Berry thing, I think a SHR ride is better than what we kind of all thought of him landing at Spire.
True.
Yeah. I thought for sure he was going to Spire. I thought Ty Dillon was getting a boot, and he's going to. My big picture move was Berry goes to Spire, Ty Dillon's out, Corey LaJoie's there, Junior comes in, buys up Spire, and that's his cup team.
Yeah, that'd be
more.
But apparently that's not what's happening.
But any last thoughts there? I mean, we'll talk about Josh Berry in the race, I'm sure. But
I mean, I think it's a great opportunity for him.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, SHR does kind of suck right now, which Andrew and I were talking a little bit before we came on. So that is kind of the concern, is he's stepping into cars that haven't really shown great speed apart from Harvick. But at the same time, if Ford gets their shit together and they can start making some fast race cars, Berry steps in and shows performance in those. I think that reflects very well on him. So
there you go.
So, but with the SHR, I mean, you lose Harvick, you're probably losing Almirola.
Yep.
So is he done?
Was like quiet?
He's still weird. I don't understand. I don't know if he's done or not.
He's not.
I wonder, and then you wonder, does Smithfield stay on like with Berry? Maybe, who knows?
Maybe. Well, and the 4 cars losing the Bush sponsorship.
Yeah.
They are.
Yeah.
I mean,
they'll find another beer. They'll be fine.
So is SHR only going to a 3-car team now?
I just feel like you have to have a veteran driver.
Or are they bringing Custer back up?
Right? They could.
They could bring Custer back up, yeah.
Then you'd have Priest, Custer, Berry. I don't know. Custer needs to prove himself a little
Briscoe.
more.
Yeah, I was going to say.
Briscoe.
Briscoe, yeah.
So now what? Does that make Briscoe your senior guy on SHR?
I mean,
that's tough, man.
Yeah. I
know Tony loves them guys, and they're great. And they do their grind and all that, but man, that's tough.
But here's counterpoint. Maybe when, because I can't remember when the last year. I guess 2020 was the last year SHR was like really good when Harvick was winning every race. Maybe they're kind of in their little like Hendrick slump where Hendrick was trash for like 2 or 3 years. Got a bunch of young guys in there, let them get their feet wet, and now Hendrick is back to stomping everybody. So maybe that's part of the life cycle they're in right now.
I don't view it as just an SHR problem. To me, it's a Ford problem. Ford's been off in my mind since 2020. 2021 they sucked. 2022 same story. Like they show speed at times, and I say they suck and they won the championship, but they just haven't shown the regular speed like the other teams have. I mean, we've seen it this year. Where's Ford been at? Has they even won a race yet this year? In Cup?
Who?
Joey Logano.
Logano, yeah. Joey.
He won Atlanta.
Excuse me. Yeah.
So I don't know. I think Ford, and I was thinking Andrew and I were also in our conversation. You know, Ford, they're coming out with that new Mustang next year, so maybe they get a body redesign, and maybe that helps them out, and they find some speed there. So who knows? We'll see how things go for them. But yeah, I'd love to see SHR get some speed for sure.
Yeah, I feel like they need a veteran driver though.
I know that's what concerns me. It's like,
well,
I don't know.
We'll find out as the rumors keep flying out.
I was also always thinking that Stewart would go after Bell if he had a shot.
That would really kill JGR, but
I don't know if he'd want to do that with Barry coming on, and I don't know.
I mean, Bell will be the number one guy there once
he would be
Hamlin and Truex retire.
Yeah, Bell will be the senior guy. Well,
yeah, he'll be the senior, but he's the best. He's their best driver right now, anyway. So
100%.
Yeah. Well, moving on to Dover. We had Xfinity and Cup this weekend. Xfinity, I did not watch the race. I was in camping with no cell service on Saturday, but I did see Ryan Truex swept the stages, got his first Xfinity win. Any thoughts from the Xfinity race?
I didn't get much of it.
Yeah,
I was in and out.
Seemed like a snoozer, from what I saw. But Cup race obviously got rained out on Sunday. NASCAR with a very proactive. They called the race.
Love it.
At 10 a.m. or something. So called that early. Didn't have to worry about.
I hate it when they come on and they haul around.
Yeah.
For 2 hours. Oh, we're gonna let's watch the fight from Daytona 1973 for the 700th time.
Yeah.
And show all these stupid old clips and stuff like that. Like, just call it. You're not gonna get it in. I'm so glad they did that.
Yeah, but
you got the BBC guys bitching that they didn't call it early enough. It's like, shut the fuck up.
Yeah.
Like, just shut up.
Yeah, they're those guys.
Maybe we should switch from the Fox Flub to the DBC Flub.
Dude, I feel like it anymore.
Yeah.
I mean, they bitch about everything, and
they do. Yeah.
So, what do you want? You want NASCAR to wait until the race is supposed to start and then say, "Oh no, we're not doing it"? They did it what, 3-4 hours before the race was supposed to start? Like,
right.
Plenty of time. You're not sending the whole guys or everybody to the track. You're not doing all that. You're not getting the fans there.
And really, that's before they already moved the race. That's after they already moved the race up 2 hours to begin with on Friday.
Right.
Yeah.
So it's like twice they were proactive about trying to get ahead of this weather. So, good on NASCAR. Yeah, I like to bust on them, but they did good here.
That was a great move. Yeah. And of course, fans want to cry about it. So
never gonna make anyone happy.
I mean, you gotta wake up and make sure the weather's right. Like, I mean, we have the forecast, but how many times have we seen a forecast and it not turn out? So you gotta at least check the day, like the day of, and see, oh, yep, it's gonna rain and it's not looking good. Like, confirm it. You can't shut the race down the day before. They can't do that.
I enjoyed the Chastain's crew, what they did in their free time. They made all the fake camera equipment.
Oh yeah,
that was funny.
They had all the broadcast equipment were faking being what's her name? I can't think of it right now.
Jamie Little.
Yeah, Jamie Little.
Yeah. But yeah, good on them for being weather proactive. So we had a Monday noon green flag time, green flag.
How awesome was it having a noon race, by the way?
It was cool. Yeah,
over by 4.
Yep.
Some races don't start.
I mean, I'm glad I was working from home yesterday. I'll say that.
Yeah, it was nice working from home. Had it on the psych monitor, and but yeah, I thought it was a pretty good race. We had old Ross Chastain make himself known again, wrecking a Rick Ware car for like 30th at the time, I think it was. So
I mean, he didn't wreck him for 30th. He wrecked him for like 3rd or 4th.
Yeah.
Rick Ware was racing for 30th.
Oh, that's right. I forgot about that.
He was racing Larson.
Yeah. So that was that was not needed. I'll say that, and people were not happy.
I mean, did y'all see the on car they posted?
No.
I think
They posted I think it was on like TikTok or on their Instagram or something, where it showed like on top of each other the 5 car, the 15 car,
15, yeah,
and the 1 car, all their onboards. I've mainly watched Ross's and that, and like it. I mean, everyone's acting like he just absolutely. It was just like, obviously didn't mean to, but to me, I'm like, it's not like 15 lifted super early, but it wasn't like egregious. I'm like, who hasn't made that? I mean, I've probably made that mistake 20 times in iRacing, and I'm clearly the same as a NASCAR driver as an iRacer, so you know it's definitely.
I can think of a time Andrew did it really bad once.
Can you?
At Atlanta.
Hey,
Just
that guy
under pit cycle. Hey, we're pitting this lap. Oh, we're pitting this lap? Yeah, we're pitting this lap.
Oh, man.
Fucking yeet.
I don't
I
know.
can think of the
Obviously,
time that Zach ran into a lap car.
Oh,
I didn't
man.
I got pushed into a lap car. It's a difference.
So did Kyle Larson.
A lap car got pull shot into him. That was just like a 12D chess move from Chastain there.
Yeah. I mean, Larson, possibly the quickest car of the day.
Yeah, he was moving at that point. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think Ross's problem is like, at least from public perception, he's kind of lost that the doubt or the benefit of the doubt sort of situation. Like I don't know. I don't think it was super egregious, but at the same time, it's like it's Ross again.
Yeah.
Now, as far as guys being pissed off about him, who cares? I'm so over that conversation. Like Kyle,
I know.
could be so mad about it if you want. Brandon
Seems like we
Poole,
say it every week. Do
Brandon
something
Poole's
about
like
it.
somebody needs to whoop his butt. Like, well, I didn't see Brandon Poole run over there in the post race whooping his butt.
No,
I mean,
yeah, exactly.
it pisses me
why?
off. I mean, and I say this as a person who likes Ross. If people are going to talk this much smack that he needs to get hit, go up and do something. Like, I'm so sick of everyone saying it every week he does something.
Yep.
And no
Just
one
do it.
Let's just do it. What is this?
Like Kyle Larson weaved at him a little bit when he was passing by. Oh boy!
Oh,
Guess
you
what?
got him.
That'll show him.
That really showed him.
Yeah.
He's like,
Right.
do that again. Yeah, it's just
Like,
what is this? Formula
if I'm
One?
Ross, why am I changing? I have no reason
Yeah.
to change. I race the way I do, and I made the championship 4 last year.
Yeah.
I raced the way I did yesterday, and I got 2nd. Why am I changing?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, if you want him to change, like, quit getting on the camera and saying Ross is a big meanie, and fucking
Right.
put him in the wall.
It's just like it reminds me of like a y'all seen that video of the dogs barking at it? It's like 3 dogs on each side of this fence. They're barking at each other, and it's like an automatic gate. And as it opens, they keep like
Yeah.
barking at each other through the gate. And then as it's fully open, they just walk away. It's just like, oh, I'm gonna beat him up, and then they see him on pit lane, they just walk right by. I think Ross even said that.
100%.
They were like, oh, Bowman or whoever's mad at you is like, well, he just walked right past me. He didn't say anything to me. So it's like, you're not gonna go up and like get in his face and yell at him for it. You're just gonna like go to the camera and talk smack. Like, I'm so tired of it, man. I'm so tired of guys trying to sound tough on camera. Just do
And I mean, we've been through this since last year. Guys were complaining about Ross all last year, and nobody did anything. Oh, the field's so mad at him. You know, do something then.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Until then, why is Ross going to change?
he's not.
He's not.
I wouldn't.
Harvick.
And I say this as a not Ross fan. As the opposite. I hate the way Ross races. It drives me nuts. I get every time Ross does something stupid and I get pissed off, and then whoever was involved gets on the mic and says Ross is a big meanie head, and then I get pissed off at the driver. I forget about Ross. Now I'm mad at this guy for taking it like a bitch.
Yeah. I'm more mad at the guys talking
Right.
and not doing anything than I am at Ross.
I mean,
Yeah,
at the
it's-
beginning, it was like, okay, I kind of get it, but we're like 20 times now, 20 races where this has happened, and everyone's just like, oh, Ross, do something.
Yeah.
Quit talking and do it. And I said at the beginning of the season when it happened, when Denny and Ross got into it, what needs to happen is they need to wreck him every week until he's on that playoff bubble.
Yeah.
And then
that'll
maybe
change.
he considers it.
Yeah. And especially do it if you want to get him. Now's the time to get him because he's not locked in.
Right.
Yeah.
Because he doesn't have a win. So now's when you can really hurt him by taking wins away, taking away stage points.
Mm-hmm.
So if you want to get him, now's the time. Not when he gets a win and is locked in the playoffs, because at that point, he don't give a shit anyway.
I mean, at this point, I don't even care about them paying him back on track. I want them to, like, meet him in pit lane. Like, he needs his butt whooped, then go whoop his butt. Like,
I mean, if you're going to say somebody needs their butt whooped,
yeah, you're go and do it. Like, you know what I mean? Like, that'll stop him from doing it again if he's getting his butt kicked every week he does something. Like,
I did hear somewhere that I think that is like a $15,000 fine, by the way. You were asking in the Discord.
Whatever.
Worth it.
For fighting? Yeah.
I'm sure.
I'm not saying it's a big one.
No.
I'm not saying it's a big fine.
As long as they don't lose points for that, they'll kick his ass.
Yeah, they'll lose points for getting someone on track, but not kicking.
Now, I do think NASCAR really needs to take a step back. And if somebody does actually grow some balls and do something to Ross on track, don't do anything.
Yeah.
As long as it's not like some massive thing that involves 10 cars. But if it's like a Denny and Ross Phoenix repeat, don't get involved. I don't care if he comes out and says, yeah, Ross is an asshole and I raced him like one. I don't care. Just let it go.
Yeah.
So if I am a team owner and I'm going to tell my drivers, if Ross wrecks you, I want you after the race to go and punch him. And you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to sell T-shirts that look like a Mike Tyson punch out. But I'm going to have Ross getting just, punched.
Call it the watermelon smash.
Yeah, there you go.
Oh, Gallagher. Yeah, you get the Gallagher.
Yeah. Easily make that 15.
Yeah, exactly. I'm gonna market the hell out of it, And so will NASCAR. Yeah. So do it.
Right.
I don't know. That's what I see. I'm sure they got PR people telling them right now, don't do that, don't wreck them. You don't punch them, but
their PR people need to be telling them to do it because it's gonna gain them a lot of fans at this point.
Yeah, I mean, look at Bowman gets called a hack, and then he starts selling shirts and all this stuff, and it's the thing. It happens every week now.
Yeah.
But someone needs to happen. They need to take Ross out, and like I said, just keep doing it until he learns.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, just take him out. Just don't right hook him on a straightaway like Bubba did. All's fair.
And if you're not willing to do that, then just shut the fuck up.
Right.
Yep.
Exactly.
Yep. So that happened pretty early on in the race there. Looked like Willie B was gonna take another one. He led, I think, nearly 200 laps, half the race, and then did not win. But ended up being Martin Truex Jr. with his first win in quite a long time. I think it was September of 21 was his last race win. So the Truex Bros.
How many races is that HMS has?
I thought
no. Just that like HMS has dominated this year.
Yeah.
Because like there's been a lot, but they haven't won them all. But there's been a lot where they've been like just running away with it. It's crazy HMS speeds this year.
Yeah, I mean the only one that they really didn't would be Martinsville, right? You had I felt like the Toyotas were the fastest, but I don't know.
I completely forget Martinsville.
Yeah,
and the dirt race.
Memory of a goldfish. Yeah, but I think other than that. And like, and maybe I guess I don't remember. Talladega were they up there leading a bunch? I don't know. That's kind of whatever.
I don't remember. Yeah,
tracks that matter. I don't know. I just feel like we've been talking a lot about Byron and Larson being up front this year.
Yeah,
a lot.
Yeah, and I think Andrew just sent. I saw this tweet the other day. William Byron. He led his 2000th lap in all those, and he quote tweeted it saying, "Not bad for the who started on a computer guy." So another.
I still hate that.
Yeah, it's like it's a good point, but then it gives more fuel to the fire of you can do iRacing and go be a cup driver. It's like it's not quite how.
I think he's memeing it. The way I'm reading that, he's memeing that. I think he's getting annoyed at people saying that all the time.
Exactly. Yeah, I would be. That's all they bring.
I mean, just because he played a video game when he was, really little, that's what he grew up on.
A simulator. Thank you.
Yeah, come on, dude.
No, but really, I mean, he did what every other driver does. He gets karts and then he goes to
Legends,
oval cars. Yeah, Legends, and he moved up like every driver does. He just said he started on iRacing because that's what his dad got him. I'm sure if you go out there, a lot of these, Raja Caruth's an iRacer,
everyone is now
about it. Yeah.
So after 2020 season.
Danica.
Yeah.
Not this Tony chick.
Yeah.
Who lives at Talladega
and Daytona.
Yeah. Yikes. Yeah. But yeah, any other thoughts? I know the JGR pit crews were, especially Denny, were not on it.
Yeah.
Not even close. And Denny even said that on his podcast. He's like, the first pit stop they had was great, and then it went downhill from there.
His pit crew's just dropping the ball so bad for him this year.
It's you got races are one loss on pit road. But I mean, five Toyotas in the top 10 at one point, so they're kind of coming back into the picture.
They were looking real good. I mean, they were all real fast yesterday.
Yeah, and
the caution helped at the end, though.
Yeah, I agree.
It saved a couple of them. Ty Gibbs he went down a lap really quick because he was 7 laps short somehow.
Yeah, that's the only reason he didn't get a top 10. He got
a top 10, didn't he?
Did he? Oh yeah, because there's only
it was.
I thought he finished. I thought it was like 11th or something.
Okay, it might have been
13th.
There you go.
Okay, still close. I mean, he would have been laps.
But he would have had a good top 10. He would have had like a 5th or 6th without that fuel issue.
Yeah.
But Bell looked good. Danny looked good. Truex obviously looked good.
Mm-hmm. Reddick was up there too, I think, and Bubba was around the top 15.
Reddick was up there. He wasn't like super
he didn't have
dominant or anything, but he was
P7.
Yeah, he was there.
Bubba P12.
Freaking RCR. Kyle Busch as a whole, that
was a bad race.
Did not want any parts of that race. And I told you, Andrew, said for whatever reason, the spring race, Kyle just is trash there. Said that last week when you picked him in the Survivor pool. I don't know why.
Random speeding on pit road on the first try.
Well, it's just like
gets caught up in the wreck.
The whole team just completely failed. So you had Kyle who sped and gets put in the back and then gets caught in a wreck and then didn't look like he was too bad. He got up to 15th. Yeah. And then they had that caution late in stage 1. And Randall Burnett decides to keep him out on old tires and he goes a lap down. And then Austin Dillon just finishing him off, decides to pass him for the lucky dog on the last lap of stage 1. Like, why? Someone needs to show Austin Dillon the MGM bet stats before the race, just so he has an idea of listen, this is the skill gap between you two.
Yeah.
To understand, crazy. I'm not for team orders. I was mad at Denny Hamlin for yelling at Christopher Bell to get out of the way.
Of course you were.
Unbiased. I know, completely unbiased opinion. In that situation, I'm not for team orders because they're both racing and they're both doing their own thing. But in this situation, let's be honest, Austin Dillon, you're going to go a lap down next stage anyway. Kyle actually has a chance to go up and do something. And sure enough, even after that day, I think Austin Dillon still finished a lap behind Kyle anyhow, somehow.
Well,
with a clean car.
Early on, who was Brennan Poole racing when Ross?
Fucking Dillon.
Ty Dillon. Or not, Austin Dillon. My bad. Yeah, Ty Dillon was running better, probably.
Yeah.
But yeah, Austin Dillon's running 30-something at that point, and that's first stage. So yeah, he had nothing.
I think you got to just have some awareness. You're trash. The only reason you're catching Kyle is because he's on 40 lap older tires and his right rear's falling apart.
And then you barely caught him.
Right, you just got him. So I don't know. That whole day was just absolutely awful for any Rowdy Nation fans like myself. I was not happy.
Yeah.
And Joe. Sorry, Joe. Sorry,
fine. Well, I was gonna make a fun Kyle was out to lunch yesterday because he was probably at the casino all day Sunday because his sponsor's a casino, but that sounded funnier in my head. But yeah, we had some other fun. We had Corey with a P14. He's on it this year. It's good to see. RFK 8-9. So smaller teams with some good runs.
Yeah, RFK is starting to kind of, I don't know, they're being more relevant than they were last year and the beginning of the season. They're just slowly kind of inching their way up to, some kind of relevance.
Yeah, it was cool to see Brad have some speed yesterday. I know we may not be the biggest Brad fans here, but I do respect the hell out of Brad for, stepping into Roush and getting into the ownership side of things. I respect anybody who does that, so it's pretty cool to see him actually showing some speed yesterday.
I respect his move. I don't respect him still. So
there you go.
I think Brad was just named the top 75 list today too. So
Yeah, good.
And MTJ as well. So 2 newbies to the 75 list. We can move into still on the Rays. The old Fox flub of the week. We had quite the Fox content on Monday. So I know for me it was the I think it was in stage 3 where they went to commercial and then they went back, but then cut back. It was a weird thing where they were like in the middle of a commercial and they cut right back into the race, and Mike Joy was like, no one said a word for like 10 seconds because they didn't know what was happening.
It's like someone sat on the remote. They've done that past 2 weeks now.
I know.
Yeah. I think
so.
Or you go ahead.
Oh god.
No,
mine was Bob Pockris. So they did this little segment where he goes
content
to
machine, Bob Pockris,
largest bounce house in, I'm not sure if it was the world or the US or what, but I mean,
both.
It's just a bunch of little kids running around, and then Bob's just jumping around. Yeah, what's the difference? Bouncing around, and he goes by this, like, I don't know, it almost looks like a punching bag, but it's obviously inflatable. And there's a little girl on the side, and he hits the thing, and the girl kind of goes flying sideways. And, like, at that point, I'm like, oh, that's my flub of the week. Well, then they keep on going, and they show him, and he jumps into one, and there was a little girl on the other side, and he just flattens her out. I'm like, oh, my God.
I don't even know. That's just Bob Pockris being a content machine. I don't count that as a flub.
Oh, you gotta love Bob.
Gotta love Bob.
Yeah,
the one redeeming quality of Fox.
I agree.
I think
Talladega stuff's the best.
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh yeah,
I think
Bob on Talladega Boulevard.
I think a big thing for me was it feels like they didn't mention anything past the top 5 and like the last stage or like the last half of the last stage. I mean, you had Corey up there running P4. You had like Brad and Chris and 8th and 9th. You had like a lot of guys running back. You had Denny losing all those spots on that last pit stop. I don't think they mentioned any of that on the broadcast.
Nope.
Like not a lick of any of that. I'm like, this is like there's so much more happening than MTJ maintaining a 2-second lead on Ross right here at the front of the pack. Like there's so much, like I get it. Like you want to focus on the leaders and like see if Ross gets a good run out of a corner or something. But when you have so much else going on in the pack, like mention that. Be like, I mean, they were back there for a long time. They didn't say anything. It just felt like a huge miss for me. And I think we talked about that when you go to a race, you can see all this, you can see all these battles throughout the back, and then you check Discord and Twitter, and everyone's like, "This race sucks," and it's like, "This was a great race. There's stuff going on everywhere," but you never see it. It's just like it's a consistent huge miss on broadcasts of like getting all the which I know it's hard. There's a lot of action, but still.
I mean, they do it like mine is kind of in the same vein. Like there was a moment where I think it was Christopher Bell, and he was coming up on Tyler Reddick. You see him take a wider line coming out of 2, and he gets a run on Reddick. He's getting there. He looks to the inside, getting ready to make a pass, and we cut away.
Yep.
We cut away to the leaders who are single file. Like they just like that wasn't even like a missed thing. Like you had a camera on it. Is somebody not there? Like, hey, I got something. Like it's just. They're just bad.
Speaking of that, there was the one where I forget who it was, but there was about to be a pass for a lead, and they're like, "Oh, let's go to commercial." Like they literally said, "Hey, here comes." I forget who it was, but like, "Hey, here comes." He's
trolling us at this point.
Or I might have been Ross and Byron. Like, here comes Ross. He's catching Byron. Here it comes, and commercial. And they ended up passing each other, but like, what the heck? They're about to pass for a lead. I don't care about Arby's, or whatever dumb commercials they run.
Someone let me try. Someone got one of those like roast beef and cheese sandwiches from Arby's the other day, and they were saying how good it was. So let me try a slice of it. Disgusting.
Dude, I hate them.
Yeah, Arby's is so bad.
I like the Arby's sauce more than anything else. Like I'll eat an Arby's roast beef sandwich for the Arby's sauce.
Fair. Have y'all ever thought about that? Where Arby's got its name?
No.
RB roast beef.
Oh, I
never.
There you go.
Thing is roast beef, so the more you know.
You learn something new every day.
Yeah.
So any final thoughts on the Dover weekend as a whole?
That was a good race. I'll say that.
Yeah.
Like I said last week,
I enjoyed it.
I went into it pretty skeptical, I guess went into it frustrated that we weren't running the different package. But I thought it felt like it was hard to make passes for the lead still, but.
Yeah, Clean Air was king.
Yeah, Clean Air is still king, so I still like to see the new package here, but I was pleasantly surprised with how good the racing was. I feel like we've had a lot of lackluster Dovers over the years, and so it was nice to see some of its former glory seem to be restored here.
Yeah, it was good. I would still like us to see. I would like to see us still try that low downforce package,
Absolutely.
but yeah, it was good.
Okay,
Yeah,
off topic here.
Oh, go ahead.
Real quick. Who would you rather have on your football team? Terry McLaurin, Marquise Brown, or how about those two?
Bryce Young.
I've never been so underqualified to answer a question.
They are.
Marquise Brown. Yeah, all right.
I'll take Austin Hill. Where's he at?
That's big country.
Corey
right
LaJoy
there.
and Bubba Wallace. They always throw the football. So.
That's true. So we are going to Kansas this week, land of the corn. Fun race. I think Kansas usually always puts on a decent show, especially the past couple of years. So that'll be fun. Chase is strong there, and he likely needs a win. So be looking out for that.
I love the duality of F1 being all glamorous and going to Miami, and NASCAR going to Kansas.
Yeehaw, brother!
Yeah,
I do enjoy that.
Middle nowhere.
I did see this really funny thing. It was just what Formula One's going like zero emissions by like 2025 or something like that. And he literally, basically all he did was show their flight paths.
Yeah.
It's like, you can, your car emissions are a very, very, very small fraction of your actual emissions.
Right.
Net zero.
Go ahead. Zero emissions. Good. Pat yourself on the back. Good job.
Well, and that's why I think we touched on this one week, but them about cutting out practice and stuff like that. I think them cutting out practice is an effort for that net zero emissions for them, because think of all the tires and stuff like that you now don't have to transport everywhere, because like how many tires they go through a week and for how many teams.
I mean, I can't imagine tires are a big weight on the team though. I mean, you got to transport them though.
I
mean, yeah, but they literally bring apartment
and you got to manufacture them.
Yeah, but they bring like literal cities with them to every race. Like they have like their whole headquarters, they're like everything with them. You're still transporting all that. I'm sure tires obviously is a portion of that.
Sure.
I think you're never gonna get.
Yeah.
I think it's gonna, if you can get an easy 15% reduction by cutting out practice, that's basically free. You didn't have to invest anything. You don't have to do nothing. Just no practice.
It's true.
Yeah.
You get free savings.
Yeah.
It certainly wouldn't get them all the way there, but
not to.
And I thought.
Good.
No, go ahead. Go.
What's your thought on Kansas?
No, I just remembered. We mentioned F1. I just remembered the RFK Alpine crossover today. I didn't see. I was looking to see if there were some times, but I did not. But that was just a kind of fun little. Pierre and Esteban took some laps around the Roval in a Cup car.
Oh, cool.
So thought that was neat.
Point I was gonna say was just not to steer too far away from Kansas, but as we're speaking of other motorsports, there was all that buzz on Twitter this week about what is the most demanding motorsport.
Oh yes, yeah, we had this conversation on Twitter.
Yeah.
That's true.
So I don't know. Obviously, we may be a little biased as a NASCAR podcast, but what are y'all's opinions?
NASCAR.
IndyCar.
That's bullshit.
NASCAR.
Embrace debate. Let's go.
Explain how IndyCar is requires the most skill sets. I'm not saying they have the most diverse field. The field has the most impressive resume. That's not what we're talking about. Which series requires the most skill sets?
I mean, the only reason you're putting it on that is because of a gimmick race that won't even be around, hopefully, after this year.
It's still here.
It's dirt. And then we got
it's here. You got to do it.
Road course, which isn't going to last probably past this year. Because
you don't know. It's a 3-year agreement. We'll see.
Yeah.
I
doubt it.
How many oval races does IndyCar actually do a year?
I don't know, but how many F1
like
drivers
3.
have come to NASCAR and been a championship driver versus how many NASCAR drivers have gone to IndyCar and been a championship driver?
We're not talking about F1. You're talking about IndyCar.
What F1 drivers have been?
I meant IndyCar. My bad.
Oh, F1. You mean F1 to IndyCar?
No, IndyCar to Cup or NASCAR or NASCAR to Indy.
Oh, okay.
How many?
Okay. I see what you're saying.
Because nobody goes to IndyCar because that's a step down.
Is it though?
Yes.
Danica Patrick did have a wildly good career in NASCAR. You're right.
Yeah. Oh boy.
Tony Stewart.
If that's a barometer.
Anybody?
Well,
ever heard of
she
Tony
did
Stewart?
she did back into an
No,
IndyCar
never.
win, so there's that.
I mean, how many people have gone to IndyCar from NASCAR? You got Jimmy.
None. That's what I mean. Nobody did Jimmy to step down.
And you have Jimmy. I mean, it's like legitimate. Are there people I'm forgetting? Like I know Larson's run Indy, right? Didn't Larson run some Indy, or I'm completely making that up?
He will run Indy.
Yeah,
I don't think he has.
Yeah,
I don't know why I'm
next
thinking he
year.
did. I mean, you got Jimmy.
Kurt Busch.
Jimmy's 60 years old. He's not going to pick up an Indy car in 2 seasons.
How many guys have gone there and done the full Indy, not just the Indy 500, done the full, I'm fully IndyCar driver? None, except for Jimmy. So I mean, you don't have enough of a pool to pull from to say yes, this is how it is. I'm just telling you, NASCAR requires more skill set. NASCARs are heavier. They have fewer assists. They don't have to have an electric button for passing.
To me, IndyCar is almost like F1 in the sense that those cars are so heavily set up. Like there's so much you can do. Obviously, there's a lot you can do with a Cup car too, but there's so much you can do with an IndyCar setup wise to where you can let it almost make the thing drive itself. I mean, Formula One, I think even like Lewis Hamilton said, these cars are easy to drive. Like they're not hard to drive. Like they get out of the car, they're not sweating. Like maybe obviously physical. Obviously I'm not saying they're not athletes. I'm not saying it's not hard to drive them, but they're not like super difficult. I don't know. To me, it's almost like NASCAR. You have your setups and you get it set up the way you want, but you're still, I feel like pushing that line of grip. I don't know. I'm sure you're pushing the line. I don't know. Either way, I
think F1's easier than IndyCar because F1. I mean, we've all seen the videos where
F1 is the easiest form of motorsport in the world. Yeah. Set it on the Green White Checker podcast.
Yeah.
Clip it.
I mean, we've seen the videos where the car will be on jack stands in the pits running laps with the RPM, So they have it, in the program. They have, traction control and all that. Where IndyCar, they don't have any of that. They're AIDS free.
I thought they had stuff. I thought they had like ABS and traction control.
I don't think so.
I thought they did.
I'm pretty sure they don't. I don't think so. But I don't know. I think IndyCar is possibly one of the hardest to control the cars, especially because they have more horsepower than NASCAR now. You bump a NASCAR stock car up to, 950 horsepower. Okay, yeah. The guys that are, competing every week, but I don't think we're more diversified because we added dirt on Bristol and run 200 laps. And the thing is just slicked off to where it's running like a freaking asphalt track.
Okay, well, what dirt track do they race in IndyCar?
They don't need to because they're a real freaking race. They don't have these stages and bullshit now. They're not a gimmick, which they have no marketing. Maybe they need to be.
Let's push the pass then. What's push the pass for then?
Because they're running hybrid cars.
It's to create more competitive racing and to create passing scenarios. Some would classify that as a gimmick.
Right.
Okay.
Also,
stages then.
Some being
I'm not saying NASCAR isn't gimmicky. I've never defended stages. Stages are horrible. Well, okay, so then why does IndyCar? They don't have green white checkers, but they will red flag a race with 2 to go to make sure they can get a restart in.
So did NASCAR.
Okay, well I'm just saying what's the difference between doing that
NASCAR's
and a green white checker?
Green white checkers, yeah. What's the difference?
Yeah, but even before the green white checkers, they would red flag it.
Great.
Okay, and what's wrong with that?
NASCAR's worse. We're saying NASCAR's the same.
You're going away from the diversified. Now you're going into
they don't. If they have time, so if there's 2 laps to go, they're not going to red flag it, right? So
they have
500. 2 years ago? Last year, they wrecked. They didn't red flag it. They finished under caution. So if there's a bunch of laps where they say, "Hey, if we stop this, we can clean it up quick and then race it."
There was one recently where they did do that. I can't remember which one it was, but they did do that. Because it was a big thing.
I think it was the first COVID year.
And I'm not saying they shouldn't do that. I think it's great. Who wants to see a race finish under caution? But that's not the question. We're not talking about gimmicks. That's not the discussion. The discussion is which series requires more. Which series requires more skill sets to compete in? A more diverse skill set.
The dirt track.
You got to race it.
It's not. No. Okay, you got to race it, but it doesn't matter. I mean, Joey Logano Kyle Busch.
It does matter. Kyle Busch.
They're dirt track drivers? No, get the fuck out of here. The fucking dirt race is a goddamn joke. Anybody can win it because it doesn't require any goddamn skill.
The only reason Kyle Busch won is because Tyler Reddick.
People wrecked. Weirdest word.
Is because Chase Briscoe wrecked Tyler Reddick. Otherwise, they would have been 1-2. And you had 6 dirt guys in the top 10 this year. So their dirt skills mattered. They made a difference. I'm not saying something can't happen, they won't win, but their dirt skills certainly mattered. You had Tyler Reddick and Chris Ravel checking out in the field. 2 very good dirt guys. I'd say their skill sets mattered. Kyle Busch winning the dirt race last year got him into the playoffs. So that race was important. It doesn't matter how important the one race is or not. You still have to race in it. Also, you still have to have those skill sets to do it.
If we're talking demanding period, how many races a season do you think IndyCar has?
That's true.
Like 2.
17. And we have
versus 38.
Versus
yeah.
We have over double the races. So if you want to talk demanding, and you can't even bring Formula One to that discussion. They race once every 2 months. So I think the original question was demanding, wasn't it? I know obviously we kind of altered it to be more of a better discussion, which is like diversified or what skill sets you need. But as far as just base demandingness goes, I mean, I think too in NASCAR your races are longer.
I'm pretty sure Cup cars are hotter too on the inside.
They got it right. So like what was it? Coda, you had guys getting out of their cars just like not collapsing, but like
Jenson Button, Formula One guy, wanted to quit because it was too hard.
Yeah,
I mean, how often does F1 race? We just went over that, and he's how old? So I mean, that doesn't remember.
They race like once a quarter.
Plus, how long are the races? The races are what, hour and a half?
The quarterly Formula One race.
I mean, we've seen Grosjean go to IndyCar.
Grosjean.
But and he's struggling. He's not winning, but he's finally battling, right?
Yeah, he's P2.
But you'd think in F1, if they were the top level, that he'd go in and just like mop up the floor. He's not, right? So I don't know. You got all these V8 supercar guys coming in. They're not doing, they're running okay. You got
Laughlin. Your IndyCar to any full body car comparison is apples to oranges. Like they're so different, it doesn't matter. Now Formula One to IndyCar, that's more of an interesting comparison because they were definitely in the same stable when it comes to skill sets required to drive those types of cars because they're both open wheel karts basically. So I would like to see more F1 guys go to IndyCar and see them get stomped. If anytime an F1 guy goes to IndyCar, I want to see IndyCar guys for sure. Now, again, if a NASCAR guy goes to IndyCar, I want him to shit on all the IndyCar guys.
I mean, I do too. I'm not gonna lie. Like,
I'm gonna be rooting so hard for Kyle Larson when he races.
Yep.
Oh yeah.
I mean, I don't disagree. I'll root for the NASCAR driver in IndyCar, but I don't know. I just think those drivers, there's something different there for most of them.
And also just think about like the racing style. They don't touch. NASCAR is a full contact sport. We know that.
I don't know. Did you watch that race this weekend?
I did watch it. I mean, I didn't see
quite a bit of
all
rubbing.
of it. Yeah, but even still, like their rubbing isn't like our rubbing.
I don't know. Our rubbing, you get fined now.
I mean, as long as you don't say we rub somebody on purpose.
You usually got to pay extra for that.
Yeah.
Go ahead. But it's that's always a fun little debate, and especially on Twitter, you got your people defending their sport, but
I don't know, the IndyCar race was fantastic on Sunday.
It was. I caught some of that. That was a good race. As much as we like the.
I saw some people saying, "Oh, NASCAR needs to go to Barber." Like, stop signing us up for fucking road courses, for God's sakes.
What's that guy? He wanted to take away a Talladega race and go to
Barber. Take away a Talladega race and go to Barber.
No, it takes every freaking day.
Working in NASCAR sucks. I hate doing it. It's so bad. I didn't make any money.
I would love to work in NASCAR, dude.
I don't make any money. I didn't make any money 8 years ago when I started, and inflation was a lot lower than it is now. Cool, bud. Congrats.
Yeah.
Do a different job if you're gonna cry about your income.
Yeah.
Just kidding. That's a joke. Just to him specifically, not as a general statement. Don't cancel me for
that. But yeah, no. Moving forward. Not a lot to add for the kill count. We had Ross obviously with 2. Does Kyle technically get 1 because he hit Was it Ty?
I don't know. That was a whole stack up from Suarez. So I don't know.
Okay.
I think this Tudor roster really got a pool. Actually, I mean, it's too slow.
He's in a way.
I mean, we gave.
Oh my God! Why did nobody put together Ross in the pool shot?
Oh wow! Hey, copyright Green White Checker Podcast. If you have to pay us to use that, thank you.
You make it put it on shirts.
Yeah. No, yeah. So
the Rawsonville pool house.
Okay,
Cool.
that's assault. Yeah, so kill count. Just Ross with the dose, and Joey is still our leader with 15, and then we got Bubba and Willie B tied for second with 11 each.
Hold on.
What's
you know
up?
what the best part about this is?
What?
Is this Ross just now getting entered to the kill count?
Wow, it is. Huh.
Well, really, I mean, if you think about it, all these are Ross's fault.
That's
So,
true.
Yeah.
He's really gotten like 30, 40 this year.
I got to put. So Hamlin's got 2. I got to put Ross above Hamlin, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
It's funny they're right next to each other, per usual.
Yeah.
The universe just brings those two together.
They really do.
All the time.
It really does.
We just need Denny to have a fire FedEx scheme for Darlington, and then they'll. I'll have to say, speaking of that, the throwback schemes coming out this year are really good.
You've complained about every single one, Joe.
I complained about Christopher Bell's paint schemes. All of his paint schemes have an ocean of blank space in between.
Not
the
all
number.
of them. Some of them are good. The DeWalt schemes are typically good. The Interstate Battery scheme is good.
Interstate's good, yes. Those are always good ones.
The Sirius one's pretty good. The Yahoo one's really good.
I like the Yahoo.
It's mostly the Ream and then the throwback. It's like there's just
so it went from all of them to 2.
Okay, well,
I'm with Joe on the throwback. It looks bad. Like
I think they should have made the DeWalt bigger. I think that would have helped it.
Absolutely.
I think what we had, I know Ross is doing the UPS throwback, which is really cool.
Yeah, he is.
Eric
Chastain also, or Kosvark.
Yeah, Carson Kosvark, podcast
Kosvark.
favorite. Eric Almirola is doing the Dale Jr. baseball car.
Big fan.
That's a really good scheme. That's done well. Let's see, I'm trying to look back through. What else do we got? I can't think off the top of my head. The good ones. They're all really good.
Isn't it usually the fall date that they should be doing the throwbacks on?
Yes, the Darlington 500.
It had been, yes. And now
I'm tired of Fox getting all these events. Like, fuck you. You get the Daytona 500 and you get to annoy me for the first 16 weeks of the season.
I know.
Let NBC have good stuff.
I'm trying to find these other. There were multiple throwbacks last week I saw that were really good. Suarez is doing the Ricky Rudd.
Oh yeah, I do like that one.
That one's really good. And then Eric Jones is doing the Richard Petty throwback, the STP. That one is.
That's probably my favorite.
Oh, William Byron is doing the Exalta.
Oh yeah,
that one. It's a good scheme, except there's the blank space between the 24 and the Exalta.
Yeah.
Like that, I have to ding it for that. I know I'm the HMS homer, but I gotta take off points for the blank space there. And that's been my thing the whole time is like, and I know teams wanted the numbers forward, but like, give them the freedom.
Who did want the numbers forward? I don't know if teams.
People say, "Oh, this is the team."
Who wanted the numbers moved? I guess is the question.
Yeah,
I'd like to know the answer to that.
Supposedly the sponsors, but no.
Well, I think didn't NASCAR that they did a study or something? It's like, oh, the numbers forward is better. It's like
it was back when they were trying to imitate dirt.
Yeah. It's like, if you do it right, yes, there are a lot of good paint schemes with number forward, but there's a lot of them where, hey, if you give the teams a little bit of freedom here, hey, you can move the number between the middle of the door and the front where it is now. There'd be so many, like, I wouldn't be bitching about Christopher Bell paint scheme or the William Byron throwback is, even most of Williams are kind of weird, especially with the Exalta, because there's so much blank space. I don't know. That's a hill have always died on, but
yeah, I let them put the number where they want to for this weekend.
Yeah,
or for Darlington, I guess, since we're doing both.
Yeah, I mean, I vote they should let them do it for anything, but let it be the sponsor and the team, and like, hey, what looks best, do that.
Well, I mean, that was the reasoning, right? The sponsor
Yeah.
wanted more room. So if the sponsor's okay with running a throwback where the number's back where it was, then what's the big deal? I mean, the fans still going to know who the driver is. And
yeah, I don't know, but a lot of good throwback scenes coming out. I'm excited to see some more. I know Hendrick usually does a good job overall, so I think only the 24 has been released that I've seen, so excited for that. Do we have, Andrew, any OnlyFans today? Questions?
we have one from Wade.
Ooh,
Wade.
What's up, Wade? What's up? What you got for us, Wade?
Does anybody out pizza the Hut?
Ooh, that is a great question. Yes, a lot of places do
I would
actually.
say most places actually out Pizza the Hut.
It's a pretty big list.
That's
Who doesn't out Pizza the Hut? It's probably this is probably an easier one.
Even Little Caesars out Pizza.
I was about to say Little Caesars, maybe.
Yeah.
out of
DiGiorno out Pizza's the Hut.
despite
Tombstone.
this Red Baron, despite claims, it's quite easy to out Pizza the Hut.
Tombstone and Red Baron, like for cheap frozen pizzas, they're good.
I still remember.
Is it Tony's, the really cheap one? That's like basically cardboard with like pepperoni and sauce on it.
Tony's. I still remember when I was a kid, we got a Red Baron pizza, and it came with a Red Baron video game where you flew around a little biplane or triplane, maybe, because it was.
That's marketing.
Yeah, it was great.
I miss those days.
Oh, kind of a little breaking news here. I just was scrolling through Twitter. Denny just tweeted. So he did the bracket. So Denny obviously had the bracket challenge idea within the past couple weeks, and he teamed up with Dirty Mo Media to actually do a contest. So starting with the points from this week, they are doing the bracket challenge idea he had, and they already have 6,000 brackets filled out in 10 hours. So if you want to get involved, go to Denny or Dirty Mo's Twitter, and you can fill out a bracket, and they got some cool prizes. So, and he was even saying on his podcast too. I think Marcus Smith was the first one to text him about
He's got
that.
some interest.
Yeah, drivers seem to be on board. Like, oh hell yeah, that'd be awesome. And like, because Denny was saying, it's not really a gimmick as like, oh, the stage racing and all the playoffs. It's just hey, I got to race. I'm Chase Elliott. I got to get Ross. That's my focus. Obviously, you want to win the race still, but hey, if I'm around Ross, I got to make sure I get by him. So I think it was good. And I think I filled out my bracket, so excited for it.
Same.
Yeah.
Yep.
And then Andrew, I know we have a giveaway we're gonna. Oh
yeah. Before we move on, I think we should, as a podcast, sit down and we'll make one. How about that? We'll do it thing. Not tonight. Sometime before Sunday. How about that?
Yeah, we'll make a podcast bracket.
Bonus episode.
Bonus.
We'll bonus content for the people.
Do it Thursday while I'm doing NIS.
Yes. But yeah, that'll be exciting. We'll hopefully maybe that is something next year. We'll see. And that could be speed. Another thing Fox can mess up.
The main thing is the money, like figuring out, are your entrances.
They can find the money.
Yeah.
I think Denny was saying they'll find a sponsor in 2 seconds for that.
Yeah.
Here's a question.
He also said like $50 million or something.
No, he said $3 million is a driver that wins, and he did say something ridiculous to anybody who has a perfect bracket.
Yeah.
But good luck with that.
Yeah.
That won't happen. That's all right.
I mean, you would have had
first year somebody nails it, but
6 upsets this week if you started.
Yeah, I mean, which ones were the big ones? Larson had an upset.
Was out. Kyle Busch was out. Man, I can't think of the other ones. But yeah, I mean, those are the big ones right there. I know I made one for the previous week, and I had Kyle Busch going all the way, I think, to the final, and I think maybe winning.
And
so I would have been out right away.
Yeah. Well, I guess we should say the way Denny's doing his thing is you're not out. It's scored like March Madness. So like round 1 you get 10 points and 20 points and so on. So it's not like single elimination, one and done. Obviously it's really hard. Everyone will have to get perfect then. So we'll submit a Green White Checkered podcast entry and we'll see how we do.
We're gonna win it all, boys.
Absolutely.
Hell yeah. So
Tips on the
giveaway
Hamlin
time.
diecast.
Yeah. So we hit a decently big milestone for the podcast this week, and so to commemorate that, we're going to give away a Dale Earnhardt Jr. National Guard. I think it's 2009 Impala SS. So you got the spoiler. Should I take it out or are we good? It's
Leave her in
I
there.
think
a
Just
nice
leave her in
one.
Leave her in there.
Okay, we're
Yeah.
leaving it in the box, but this is going up for the giveaway. To enter, all you have to do is follow us on Twitter, which we'll make a post, retweet it, and I don't know, we were saying take a
Review.
picture of a review of our podcast, but just follow it.
Yeah. Follow the podcast.
Follow
Follow on-
podcasts, whatever you're on.
And send us
whatever you're on.
maybe send in a screenshot showing you following it, because I don't think we can actually
Yeah.
see the names of our followers on.
No, we can't.
No.
Yeah.
Unfortunately.
So some proof of following.
Yep.
Subscribing.
Some proof of life.
How
But
about
yeah,
this? How
go
about this
ahead.
too? And pick who you think is going to be the points leader going to the playoffs.
Yeah.
So in your retweet,
Yeah, we
that's
got
what we want to see.
like, comment, follow on your favorite podcast, and tell us who is going to be the regular season point champ.
Yep.
And we will run this through the playoffs, or till the playoffs start. So once the playoffs start, we'll pull a name and get you a nice little die cast.
Answer to the points leader question doesn't affect your entry. That's just kind of a fun thing to add to your reply,
Yeah,
but it's not like you have to
just
get it
fun.
right to be entered into the drawing. As long as you do.
Unless you pick Joey Logano, then you're disqualified automatically.
Yeah,
actually,
correct.
automatically
I don't make the rules.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
is true.
I mean, I kind of do.
Our lawyers told us that's the best way to do it. So yeah.
But no, yeah. So be on the lookout.
Follow-
Be on the lookout for that.
follow,
Tell your
retweet,
friends.
follow.
Tell your friends. Get them involved. I believe we have to do Survivor pool, and some betting for Kansas, and we're out of here.
Yeah.
So, Survivor pool. I got the dub with Chastain finishing P2. Joe had Reddick, who got P7. And then Drake
yes.
with Bowman. Well,
48 car.
he picked Bowman, and we never switched it, so I'll just leave it in for the 48 car.
Just like we did with Chase.
He got 10th, and then Andrew picking Kyle, finishing 21, which really 21 isn't that bad considering his day.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know.
So we'll lead off with old Andrew as we go into Kansas.
Oh man. Yeah, I mean, Drake's leading this thing just because he's racing like Bowman, just consistent.
Backing into him.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah. So an update. Drake is leading 30. I'm in second with 28. Andrew's third with 27, and Joe with 25 points.
All right. So I'm gonna pick. Let's see, Kansas. William Byron.
Willie B.
Good pick. That was
Drake.
that was where'd Brian finish up in that competition? Because Brian picked Willie.
Who did he
B.
pick?
So Brian would have been second, I believe, in the
Nice.
competition there.
Oh
So,
wow.
Brian,
Nice.
congrats on your second place finish. You get nothing for it, but a pat on the back. So. For me, Kansas is a high lane track, so I'm gonna go with the guy we all think of when we think of the high line. The guy basically, we basically call the high line after this guy, and that's Tyler Reddick. Clearly the Reddick line up there at the top, so that's gonna be my pick. Not the other high lane guy that the poser Kyle Larson, but the real one.
The imposter.
Yeah,
Got him.
hits the wall every time he's up there.
Yep. Joseph, who you got?
I am going with Sir Ty Gibbs. I feel like he's been pretty consistent recently. Had a good over race. So see if that Toyota speed carries over to a proper intermediate.
Yeah, he's been looking good. I'm gonna go Seabell. See what we can do, because Toyotas were fast
Seabell.
there.
Surprised is your
Yeah.
first time picking him, honestly.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
I was-
mean,
I was kind of waiting. I wasn't sure when I wanted to pull him out. Thought about the dirt race, but I don't know. I feel like 1.5 Toyota's been showing some good speed lately. I feel like that's a good one there.
Yeah, I mean, it's not a bad one, that's for sure.
Toyota swept there last year, didn't they? Because Kurt won the spring race, and then
Bubba.
Bubba. Maybe I should have picked Bubba. Oh well. All right. That'll do it for Survivor Pool.
Yeah.
Any
Yeah.
betting tips from Sir Picks by Fitz?
Oh man, we had a good weekend at Dover. We had Truex. We posted that even before the podcast last Tuesday. So happy to see that. Zach did warn me of the Kyle Busch. We're down half a unit from that. That's not bad. We had 2 out of the 3 head-to-heads. We would have got them all if the race stayed green, but we lost the last one in final restart. So yeah, good week. This week, man, I'm watching Josh Berry and Ty Gibbs. Right now, the odds to win are great. Josh Berry's plus 6,000. Ty Gibbs is plus 3,500. I don't think I'm going to go there. I think I'm going to go top 10s. I just tried to look it up. For some reason, it's not showing up. But you're probably looking at like plus 400 for Ty Gibbs and then probably 600 for Berry. All in on that.
Yeah, for sure.
I think this is a track that's going to really play to their hands. For my outrights, I hate to say it, but Ross Chastain. I know. I'm right there with you. But last year, him and Suarez were both running really well. Suarez ran into some problems, but Ross was fast. And I really think that he's got some momentum going right now. At plus 1,200, it's not bad. But that's all I got right now.
All right. Sweet. Well, that'll take us into the week. Remember to follow us on the GWC Pod on Twitter and YouTube, and then obviously your favorite podcast medium of choice. And we got that giveaway going, so we'll be on the lookout for that and be keeping track of entries. But yeah, in the meantime, we're off to Kansas to see the wonderful Wizard of Oz, and y'all have a great week.
Thanks, guys.
See ya.
See ya.
Bye.
I love you.